Teachers are unstoppable and they change lives every day. They are angels. They help students see their full potential so they can write a bright new future. I believe that, and so does our season-long partner, Pilot Pen, makers of G2, the go-to pen of the Kelly Clarkson Show. My next guest says his debate teacher changed his life. His story was shared in a Humans of New York Instagram post that went super viral. In fact, from that one post, he raised over $1 million for his former teacher's debate program. Incredible. Everybody say hi to John. Have you ever thought of just like going into the profession of raising money for people? Because you're good at it. I was like, $1 million? That must have been one hell of a teacher.
Yes. My high school debate coach changed my lives and many kids in New York City lives, so
Yeah.
yes.
So where did you meet this teacher? You called Deco, right?
So yes, so just a little backstory. I'm from the Bronx, New York. Born to parents addicted to drugs, so life wasn't always easy. So, you know, black boys born in poor areas, parents addicted to drugs, you make poor choices. Eventually in middle school, I got caught breaking and entering a home, and God blessed me with a second chance. And part of that second chance,
wow.
Thank you. And part of that second chance was going to a high school called Frederick Douglass Academy in Harlem, New York. And the late Dr. Hodge, who was the principal, had a reputation of saving boys who was in my situation. And one of his rules was you have to do after-school activity. I would not let you go back to the Bronx after school. So I'm wandering the halls, and I'm looking, and I'm like trying to figure out how to escape this building. And I stumbled past this short, petite white woman in a debate class. And every time she opened her mouth, it was power. And one day she started talking about drug addiction. And I don't know what happened to me that day. I stood up and I just started telling my story. And she came to me and she checked on me and she said, you should join the speech and debate team.
Wow, that's incredible. Teachers are incredible. Yeah. So what happened when you started to, compete in debating?
First, the Deco method is get your butt whooped. So we would go, we didn't really understand it. Like we would go to Regis High School, which is a very privileged high school in Manhattan, Catholic school in Manhattan. And I would lose a lot. I was confused on the verbiage. These kids knew Latin. I was like, my poor Bronx butt don't know no Latin.
Yeah.
They was using so much type of jargon, and I was very confused. And then I had a moment where I was like, this is not about the words or the definitions, it's about me. It's about me finding my voice. It's about Deco teaching me my voice. And I think I started getting good when I started speaking from emotion, when I started speaking from experience. And I finally won. And after I won, Deco does what Deco do. Let's go to Harvard. Let's go to Harvard University. A bunch of poor black kids, we can't go to Harvard. What are we going to Harvard for? And we go to the Harvard University Invitational, and Deco was like, you can win this, Jonathan. And I was like, I can't win this, Deco. And Deco's like, you can win this. And I didn't win. And then something happened after I didn't win. I never seen Deco so mad. And Deco was mad not because I lost, but because of my reaction. And I was like, I don't supposed to win. I don't supposed to be here. I don't belong here. This was fun. Thank you for the free hotel. Thank you for the free meals that I'm missing out on. But thank you. And Deco was like, if you think like that, your life will be like that forever. And I can't allow you to not believe that you're special and that your voice matters.
Yeah, if you accept what the world is giving you, you're gonna, yeah. You have to expect more. I love that. She pushed you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you ever have a teacher that really pushed you?
Oh, yeah. I had several teachers. I had a drama teacher, Scott, and a film teacher, Jim Hosney. Yeah. I had some amazing teachers in high school that were really inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I was very, very lucky. Well, John, despite your teacher's support, you still struggled in school, right?
Yeah, so, again, there was a moment where Deco left the school, and I came up with this theory in my head that she didn't believe in me.
You took it personally.
I took it personally. I was like, this was fake. She never cared about black students. Throughout the time, Deco's texting me, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you going to school? Are you all right? This wasn't personal. I care about you. Do you need anything? And I'm just saying, yeah, I'm good. Don't worry about me kind of situation. And I got in trouble with the law again. I almost got caught with a firearm. And I got my third chance. And God protected me again for some reason. I grabbed every college application, and I basically got a full ride through Stony Brook University, the EOP program.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah, so I called Deco. I said, I'm going to college. I'm going to make you proud. I apologize for not talking to you for these years. And Deco was like, I would love for you to come see what I'm doing. And about this whole idea of Deco not caring about black kids and what we were going through, To my surprise, Deco was running a new school, Achievement First Brooklyn High School, which was a predominantly all-black school with kids who looked like me, who had similar stories to me, and they had about 75 to 80 kids debating, and they were not competing at Harvard, they were winning Harvard.
Oh my God.
And I walked into the classroom, there was a wall and it said World Changers, and it was the first black astronaut, it was the first Supreme Court Latino judge, and then it was me.
Oh my God, that's so cool that you got to see the impact you had on someone as well. But something that you didn't know at the time is that she was struggling as well, right?
So you guys heard me refer to Deco as she throughout this segment so far, and after Harvard in 10th grade, I remember Deco walking into class with a fresh cut, fresh suit, and was like, my pronouns are he and him now. I don't care what your pronouns is. You love me, I love you, and I'm always gonna support you. But unfortunately, the school didn't agree with that. And I learned that's the reason why Deco left. So it had nothing to do with me, it was him protecting himself. And even though you had 10 kids who loved you, I didn't understand what the adults was going through and what it was like for him to transition and be so vulnerable.
Yeah, and well, Deco is actually here today. So come on out, Deco. What's up? Hi, Deco. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, come on over. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So John shared how life, his life was saved through debate, but also, Deco, yours was as well, right?
Yeah, so telling a little bit about my life. So I grew up in New York City. I was actually born and raised on the same block that my mom moved to when she moved to this country from a farmhouse in Ireland when she was a little kid. And thanks to the sacrifices of my 4 immigrant grandparents, my life looked a lot different from that. So I got accepted to Stuyvesant High School, which is the top public school in New York City, and I joined the speech and debate team right away. And I loved it from the beginning, but really where it made the biggest impact was halfway through my high school experience. What you gotta know about Stuyvesant is it's located in downtown Manhattan. And if you do the math, I know I look like a little kid, but I'm old enough that I was there in 2001. So we watched the Twin Towers fall. And I remember kids, my friends, like watching people fall from the towers. And I remember running for our lives. I remember thinking we were gonna die. And I remember not being okay.
Well, who would be?
It was just for weeks, for months afterwards, I couldn't get these pictures out of my head. I kept feeling so angry and so scared. And the only safe place that I really had to process what had happened was my speech and debate team. And thanks to speech and debate, I got through that difficult time and I was able to apply to college. It was a big deal. I was the first in my family to go to a 4-year college and I ended up getting into Yale University.
Wow! You went big. Yeah. You didn't just get in, you went all the way. That's amazing.
It was so big for me and my family. And
so cool.
When I got there, of course, a lot of my Yale friends were thinking about finance and thinking about consulting, but I was like, I want to follow my heart here and do for other kids what speech and debate had done for me. So right away, I started teaching in New York City public schools at John School, and I started a debate team.
Gosh, and the lives you've impacted via that. So you believe that debate is a path for underprivileged kids, right?
Yeah, so all too often, folks that come from marginalized or underprivileged communities have been systemically silenced, right? Told that their voices don't matter, their lives don't matter, what they have to say doesn't matter. Speech and debate's the opposite of that.
Yeah.
And the problem, though, is that speech and debate is a pretty elitist event. I didn't think that was okay. So, I went to a public school myself, but it just happened to be a really, prestigious
elevated
public
situation,
school.
yeah.
And my coach worked really hard to raise the money to help us go all over the country. And I was like, look, all kids deserve this. So as soon as I was able to, a couple years ago, a couple local coaches and I started a nonprofit organization called the Brooklyn Debate League that's trying to change that. And we're trying to bring speech and debate to kids everywhere.
Yeah. And use your voices.
Exactly.
That's why it's so important. So you were surprised when the story went viral, right? And the GoFundMe raised over $1 million.
Yeah, surprise is an understatement. I was blown away.
Yeah, because if you're working with public school, you're basically buying all the supplies. You're doing all. My mom was a teacher, so you're doing all the work.
Yeah, I mean, at Jonathan's public school, I had to bring my own copy paper, right? The teachers weren't given pens and paper.
Yeah.
That was the level. And so with the Brooklyn Debate League and with the debate teams that I'm working with here, you know, the Brooklyn Debate League, we had no money. We were thousands of dollars in debt. I'm pouring my savings in, John is pouring his savings in, and I'm looking at the bank account and I'm like, how much longer can I legitimately like afford to do this? And then in 48 hours, we raised $1.3 million. And it, you know,
I think that's his calling, is raising money.
Well, right? Well, you know, the other calling that now we're finding out about is because we raised the money, now we're able to hire him, and he's one of the coaches at the Brooklyn Debate League.
Oh, wow. And you know what? You raised an incredible amount of money. You have an amazing testimony because you were this kid, it helped, and now you can teach that with other kids, but also the awareness factor for all these other public schools watching going, man, this would actually probably benefit our students. Like, this is cool. The awareness factor is cool enough for me, I think. And it's just a really cool outlet for kids as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah.